Hello, welcome to the first year BTech course of Guru Nanak Institute of Technology. I'm Dr. Indrajit Bose and I will be your course instructor for this session. This paper is entitled English with a paper code of HU101. In this paper, I shall be guiding you in the basic forms, modes, and genres of communication, and we shall be looking at examples from a globalized context as we go around. This is module 3 of the paper and is called Vocabulary and Reading. Throughout the lectures of this module, I shall be looking at the different ways in which English words originate and also the multiple meanings of English words. We shall also be exploring the nature and functions of reading and various techniques and different text types which are used in reading. So this module shall be focusing on the significance of the uses of English words and also the techniques of reading. This is lecture 12 in the series and is based on antonyms and synonyms and one-word substitution. In the course of this lecture, I shall be looking at the nature of English words and the multiplicity of meanings which they have. We shall be exploring the world of antonyms and synonyms, and we shall look at numerous examples to illustrate them. We shall also be looking at the ways in which one-word substitution patterns operate. To begin with, it is interesting to take a look at the huge range and diversity of English words and the multiplicity of meanings which they possess. We have already seen something about word formation in the previous lecture. Now, there are many words which are formed from the same root and have similar meanings, like biblio. From that, we get words like bibliography, bibliophile, and so on. Again, with bio, we get biosphere, biology. From peri, we get words like perimeter, and so on. Now, there are many words having close similarities, so there are a lot of commonalities which abound, like shock, surprise, astonishment, horror. They are variations, or there are similarities between them. They suggest almost the same thing. Some words have a similar sound, but they have different meanings again, like accept and accept. The meanings are different. Accept meaning to take something, and accept meaning to leave out or to exclude. Peace meaning the opposite of war. And piece means a section or a segment. Halo, the penumbra which surrounds a holy person or a great person. And hallow, something sacred. Sandal, the sandal that comes from the sandalwood tree. And sandal, the sandal or slipper that one wears. So the pronunciation is nearly the same, but the meanings are different and the spellings are somewhat different. The same word has different meanings, like pound. One meaning of pound is the currency, pound. Another is to pound or to break up into pieces. Tear, tear and tear. Of course, pronunciations could be slightly different, but the spelling is the same. Tear, to cut into pieces, tear up something, or the teardrop that falls from the eye. Drop, drop down, fall, or a drop of water. Purse, to close up the lips, purse up the lips, or uh, reticule or purse for taking money, another value. Box, rectangular, wooden or tin or any other material made of a container, or to box somebody's ears, pull somebody's ears hard. So we can see that because of this diversity and multiplicity that exists in the nature of the meanings of English words, the understanding of the correct meaning and connotation is very important. And in order for communication to be effective, both the sender and the receiver need to understand what is the proper and the correct meaning. Otherwise, messages will not be properly communicated across, they will not be understood, or proper feedback will not be received. Let us now explore a little more with the diversity of English words. To begin with, we are going to explore something very interesting, the world of antonyms and synonyms. Now, what exactly are synonyms? Words having the same or similarity of meaning are termed as synonyms. For example, expensive. Other meanings of synonyms, other meanings of expensive, which are close, like costly, dear, high-priced, exorbitant. These are all synonyms of expensive. For example, Anita got many expensive presents for her birthday. So the presents were highly priced. Anita got many costly presents for her birthday. We can also say that. On the other hand, what are antonyms? Words having opposite meanings are called antonyms. For example, expensive as opposed to inexpensive. We have cheap or low cost. So the poor were provided with inexpensive housing. So that is, they were provided with low cost housing facilities. Books are quite cheap at the book bazaar. That is, you can get them for a good bargain over there. So this is basically the difference between antonyms and synonyms. Words having similar or nearly similar meanings are classed as synonyms, and words having opposite meanings are classed as antonyms. Now let us explore further by looking at clusters of words which can be grouped according to different categories, because as you can understand, the world of antonyms and synonyms is extremely vast, and we can only take some glimpses of this world. We cannot look at it in its entirety. Okay, now the first cluster that we are going to look at is the words relating to the new and the old. For example, if we have the word new, then we can have as synonyms of this word novel or innovative, recent, trendy, or modern. Again, if we have old, which is the opposite of new, so it's the antonym of new really, we have ancient, antique, outdated, old-fashioned, or antediluvian. These are all the synonyms of old. Now let us look at this in the context of sentences to understand the meanings better. For example, this shop is a novel venture of Mr. Mehta's. That means it is something new that he is starting. Sujata has many innovative ideas for which she has won prizes. That means she has got a lot of new ideas, and they are recognized because she has won prizes for them. A recent study has found children are spending long hours playing online games. So it is a study which has been conducted very recently. So that has found that children are playing long hours online games. Mukesh was sporting a trendy watch. So that means the watch is new and it is fashionable. My aunt's house is full of old-fashioned furniture. So the house is full of antique furniture or old-fashioned furniture. That gold coin has antique value. So it has got a value in itself, which is that of an antique, or it's an old and treasured thing. Your delivery system is too outdated. You need to replace it. So again, here outdated would mean antique or little out of fashion. So antique can mean old and valuable. It can also mean old and out of fashion. So these are slight shades of differences in the meaning. So these are some sample sentences which illustrate the clusters of words leading to new and the old. Now let us look at a different cluster. Yes, now we will look at the cluster attract and repel, words relating to attract and repel. So beautiful, for example, it has the synonym handsome and the opposite is ugly. Again, bold has the synonym courageous and the antonym is cowardly. Upright has erect as synonym and crooked or bent as the antonym. Strong, the synonym of strong is powerful and the antonym is weak. Intelligent is the synonym of clever and the antonym is foolish. Sharp has the synonym pointed and the antonym is blunt. Now let us look at the example sentences to better understand the usage of these words. The purse was a handsome present to give. That means it was a good present. It was good looking and obviously it was appropriate also. The cowardly lion hung his head ashamed. So the lion is a little cowardly, so he is ashamed of his cowardice. So he hangs his head. An honest and upright boy like Barney has no one to fear. So upright, he's straight, but also meaning that he is honest and straight that way. So there's nothing crooked about him. So he has no one to fear. The old woman was crooked and walked with a stick. So she's bent because of old age. The elephant is very strong and can pull several trees. So obviously it's the strength of the elephant which is being underlined over here. The mouse was very intelligent and found his way home. So his intelligence has enabled him to find his way back home. Be careful with this knife, it is very sharp. So the sharpness of the knife which can cut somebody's hand, that is being stressed over here. Sita is very weak after her illness. So weak, she is physically weak or enfeebled because of illness. It is hard to scale the wall as there are pointed spikes in it. So sharp or pointed spikes, okay, at the top of the wall, so make it difficult to scale it or to climb it. The foolish boy tried to cross the river in a leaky boat. So he's foolish, so that's why he tries with a leaky boat, because the water will seep into the boat. So he's foolish because he tries such an undertaking. So these are some sample meanings from the cluster of words dealing with attract and repel. Now let us look at a different cluster. Okay, this is a cluster dealing with words relating to assent and deny. Admit has the synonym allow and the antonym of admit is refuse. Again, assent is the synonym of agree and the antonym is disagree. The synonym of permit is allow and the antonym is deny. Debar has got the synonym prohibit and the antonym include. Proscribe has the synonym forbid and the antonym allow. So these are some synonyms and antonyms dealing with assent and deny. Let us look at certain sample sentences to better understand the meaning. Reena is headstrong and will not admit any mistakes. So she will not admit that she has made any mistake. Okay. The children were refused admission to the ward by the nurse. So refused. So they were not allowed to enter into the ward by the nurse. Mother agreed to allow the children to go on a picnic. So she permitted, mother permitted the children to go on the picnic. Latecomers were denied entry into the class. So they were not allowed entry into the class. Denied meaning not allowed. Students who fail to clear the exam will be debarred from attempting a second time. That is, they will be disallowed or they will not be allowed to sit for a second time. Parents are prescribed from any help to their children during contests. So they are not permitted to give any help to their children during contests because that is favoritism or that is a wrong, unethical practice. Children are allowed to bring their toys to the play school. So they are allowed to bring toys to their play school. So they can bring as many toys as they like. So these are some sample meanings dealing with the cluster of words assent and deny. Now we shall look at a fresh cluster, few and plenty. Words relating to few and plenty. Limited, for example, has got the synonym few and the antonym is unlimited. Scarce, again, has the synonym few and the antonym is plentiful. Straitened has the synonym poor and the antonym is affluent. Numerous has the synonym several and the antonym is few. Flood has the synonym huge stream and the antonym is trickle. Superfluity has the synonym and abundance and the antonym scarcity. Now we shall look at certain sample sentences to better understand the meanings. There is a very limited choice of options for good girls schools in Sitapur. That means that there are very few good girls schools in Sitapur. Food grains are scarce in supply due to the prevailing drought. So they are very limited in supply. Mrs. Mehta is in straitened circumstances after her husband's death as his pension has stopped. So she is now quite poor. She is not in affluent circumstances. Rahim's brother is a banker and quite affluent. That means he's quite well off. Fred received a flood of congratulatory messages on his wedding. So a huge number of messages have been pouring in. So this is a flood of messages. Passengers on the aircraft are not allowed to take superfluous baggage. Excess baggage they will not be allowed to take. There is a limit. There is an abundance of packaging material in the warehouse. That means there is plenty of it, excess of it. You can take as much as you want. So these are some sample sentences dealing with few and plenty. Let us look at a fresh cluster now. Open and closed. The word open, for example, has the synonym free and the antonym of open is closed. Debarred has the synonym locked and the antonym is unbarred. Unguarded has the synonym free and the synonym, unguarded has the synonym as free and antonym is guarded. Limited has the synonym confined and the antonym is unlimited. Freedom has the synonym liberty and the antonym is confinement. Now let us look at some sample sentences to better understand the meanings. The temple is open now after the rains. Means during the rains it was closed probably, now it is open. Entry to the hall is debarred to latecomers. That is, they cannot gain access to the hall. The guard unbarred the door to the locker. That means he opened it up. In an unguarded moment, she admitted her weakness. She was off her guard for a certain moment and she admitted a weakness around this time. The political leader was kept closely confined in his home. So he was kept in house confinement or he was, not allowed to go out of his house. In the fight for freedom, many promising young men lost their lives. So they lost their lives in the fight for freedom because they were fighting to gain independence. Nehru wrote many letters during his years in confinement in prison. So he was in prison. He was in close confinement or he was imprisoned for many years. So during those years, he wrote so many letters. These are some sample sentences dealing with few and plenty. Open and closed. Now we shall look at a fresh cluster, simple and complex. Simple has the synonym uncomplicated and the antonym is complex. Artless has the synonym simple and the antonym is artful. Disingenuous has the synonym ordinary and the antonym is complicated. Ambiguous has the synonym confusing and the antonym is unambiguous or lucid. Now let us look at some sample sentences to better understand the meaning. The dress is very simple but a beautiful one. So it's simple but beautiful. This house has a complex maze of corridors. So it has got a confusing labyrinth of corridors. The child looked at him with an artless gaze. So only a child can look at somebody with a gaze that is so totally artless or so simple. The parrot is quite artful the way it asks for food. So that means the parrot is rather clever or sly. The solution to the problem lies in a disingenuous policy of openness. So totally, artless, unambiguous kind of policy is required. The results of the test were quite ambiguous and not satisfactory. So that means they were a little confusing. Mr. Mehta was puzzled by the confusing messages sent by his wife. So he didn't know what to make of the messages, which were a little contradictory. So these are some sample sentences illustrating the meanings, dealing with simple and complex. Now we shall look at another cluster dealing with refined and coarse. The word refined has the synonym purified and the antonym is unrefined. Elegant has the synonym stylish and the antonym is inelegant. Polished has the synonym sophisticated and the antonym is unpolished. Coarse again has the synonym crude and the antonym is polished. Let us now look at certain sample sentences to better understand the meanings. Mark is so refined, he makes a good impression on all. So he is so sophisticated, so refined that he makes a very good impression on everybody. Ghee is a purified form of butter. So that is a purified form or refined form of butter. You must add unrefined flour to the recipe. So unrefined flour is flour which has not been subjected to the process of refinement. Mira was wearing an elegant Parisian gown and looked stunning. So elegant, very stylish. Okay, it's very handsome, sophisticated. This is a very stylish dress, but it is way too expensive. So stylish or refined. Ronaldo's manners are perfectly polished and poised. So good, it is said also about people's manners. So very, very refined manners. The villagers crowded round and behaved in an uncouth and unpolished manner. So they are behaving in an unsophisticated and rude, boorish kind of way. This cloth is as coarse as sacking. So it is of poor quality. That is what one is trying to say. So these are some sample meanings dealing with refined and coarse. So we have looked at various clusters of words and their meanings with the help of antonyms and synonyms. There are many other such words. We can actually go on multiplying, and I have only been trying to give you a brief idea with the help of certain examples, and there are numerous others. Let us now look at another set of words, that is, words dealing with one word substitutions. What are one word substitutions? To put it very simply, these are words, many words, which can replace one single word. So, in other words, one word replaces many. Let us see. Now, again, there are many, many, many such words. The list is far too numerous to be able to be comfortably placed in any one or two lectures. So, I'm taking up a strategy. I'm giving you some substitutions based on certain themes. For example, there are some words which are based on the names of places or dwellings. What are they? For example, a place where bees are kept, that is called an apiary. Okay? Or a place where birds are kept, that is an aviary. A place where animals are kept is a menagerie. A house in which an Eskimo lives is an igloo. So you must have seen igloos and pictures of them. And by the way, another name for a menagerie is a zoo. A place where money is coined, that is a mint. A place where milk is treated is a dairy. A place where official records are kept are the archives. We all have official archives in different places. A place where gypsies live, it's a caravan. It's a mobile van which the gypsies can travel around. It's a moving house, house on wheels. A large city is a metropolis. So these are all names of places and dwellings which deal with one-word substitutions. Now again there are names of persons. For example, a person who collects stamps is a philatelist. A collector of coins is a numismatist. A person dealing in antiques or rare books is an antiquarian. A person specializing in insects is an entomologist. A person specializing in the study of birds is an ornithologist. One who does not believe in the existence of God is an atheist. On the other hand, one who does believe in the existence of God is a conformist. One who runs away from danger is an escapist. A person who believes pleasure is the chief good is a hedonist. So these are some substitutions dealing with the names of persons, or we can designate them as persons. So there are many such words. Again, we have some substitutions dealing with manias or phobias. Fear of spiders, for example, is called arachnophobia. A fear of enclosed or crowded spaces is claustrophobia. So many people suffer from this. Fear of heights, acrophobia. Fear of flying, aerophobia. Fear of being alone, autophobia. Fear of blood, hemophobia. Fear of water, hydrophobia. An obsession with cats, alluromania. An obsession with alcoholic beverages, alcoholomania. Now there are many more such manias and phobias. Now I have tried to give you some idea regarding the world of antonyms and synonyms and also one-word substitutions. How many words replace one word in this lecture. Now, in order to gain a better understanding of these, the best possible way is to look at the dictionary to find out more such words and also their meanings. If you look at a good thesaurus, for example, if you look at Roget's thesaurus, you will get the illustrated list of synonyms for words and also antonyms. So pair up your reading of a dictionary with a good thesaurus. The understanding of the meanings of words and knowing about the various synonyms and antonyms is very important because it is a great help in the process of reading. The vocabulary that you need in order to read and in order to understand the material that you are reading comes really from your knowledge of these words. So please try to acquire as many antonyms and synonyms as possible. They will increase to the richness of your use of language. One-word substitutions are extremely useful in the process of writing because often we have to edit and we have to cut down. You will be studying pressy writing. So obviously you will have to use many one-word substitutions over there to edit the length of what you are going to write. So one-word substitutions are extremely useful in writing when we are using the editing process. So in this lecture, I have tried to shed some light on the world of synonyms and antonyms, and also look at one-word substitutions. So this brings us to the end of this lecture. Thank you.